Hey everyone, welcome back to Obscure Victories Gaming and our slow burn Dynasty. We are in bowl week here. We have fortunately played well enough to get to 6-6 and earn a chance to play in a bowl game. You can see, as the title says there, we're going to be taking on Boise State in the Poinsettia Bowl. And it looks like Boise State's going to be a good challenge for us. But before we head into the game, let's check in with our recruits. I did go through week 14 and the conference championship week to get to here. So we have some news, and I'll show a picture here, but we did sign Dominic Pennington in week 14. So that's very exciting for us to get a top player in New Mexico on our squad. A sign of good things moving forward at the University of New Mexico. Being able to lock down top in-state recruits. I think we got the top 2. We'll maybe double check that later. But Dominic Pennington, huge signing for us. Then heading into the bowl week, we did sign Brandon Williams. He was the 4-star athlete we were allowed to go after in week 4. It's been kind of a roller coaster journey with him. I know we were down and losing ground for a while, and then, miraculously in week, I don't know if it was heading into week 13 or 14, I think 13, everybody else kind of dropped out, and we were the ones that kind of stayed true to him. So really excited to get him. He shows up as a running back, but I think when I scouted him, he had the option to play defense and wide receiver as well. So really good signing for us there. And then we did also sign Andrew Lewis, 65 overall defensive tackle. So he's going to be able to add depth on the defensive line for us. So now this week, recruiting-wise, obviously we don't have any points to give, but we have 11 scholarships remaining, assuming that we don't take any transfers, which hopefully we get somebody who kind of notices what we're doing here and wants to jump on board. And if they're a fit, we'll take them. But here's how our board looks right now. Leon Gore, looking to lock him up, up by 3,700. That's a huge lead. Won't have to put too much into him. He's at 94% locked. I think if at the end of the season we put 500 to 1,000 on him, we should be good. Same thing with Sean Bradshaw. So our wide receiver room is looking like it's going to take shape. We're going to have some playmakers there. David Davis might be a little bit more of a battle, but we're 2,300 up on him, 96% locked. So we may be bringing in, 3 guys that could really help our program. Leon Gore and David Davis maybe later on down the road, but I think Sean Bradshaw could step in right away. Free safety Clarence Williams was a late addition for us, but we were able to put enough points into him to really start pulling away. We had a week 14 visit with him, which didn't really amount to much because we didn't have a game, but it was good to get him in. We got a few bonus points. You can see he's at 67% locked, so we're going to have to put more points into him to increase his likelihood of signing. Kevin Douglas was a late add as well, 28% locked. Not sure if it's worth, trying to put points into him because it'd have to be quite a bit to get him to sign or to increase the likelihood of him signing. Aaron Hunter, another late addition. Doesn't look like somebody we're going to come away with or put any points into later on. Daniel Clark, 43% locked. He's kind of somebody who's just kind of been hanging around on our board. Nobody else really showed interest. He's only at 43% locked. Again, not sure if we're going to put points in to increase his likelihood of signing. Freddie Clark is somebody we could put more points into. We got 58% locked. We're up almost 2,000 on everybody. He would be a good signing for us. Ted Bailey at 46% locked. With the way the other wide receivers look, not sure I would put many points into him. Joshua Carlton would be a good get for us. He's at 46% locked. One thing I'm not sure about is if after the bowl game, if their percent locked goes up. I've never really paid attention to that. It'd be nice if it did, but Joshua Carlton could be in the running for some points. James Campbell definitely get some. We've got to bring in, I think, 3 safeties to kind of shore up our safety room, and we'll disperse them between free safety and strong safety as needed. But James Campbell looks like somebody we would put points into. Marcus Neal at 92% locked. We may just kind of see how that goes if we can hold off Eastern Michigan. They're going to put enough points into him. So not somebody that would get many points, if any. Arnold Carter, another late add, 34% locked. Again, not somebody I feel the need to put points into. Daniel Washington, again, I think somebody that's been on the board from the beginning of the season. only at 47% locked. Not really a high candidate to get points. John Stewart, a late addition, but he's kind of always been interested in us. You can see that he's 18% locked. Have to put a lot of points into him to sign him. Probably not going to do that. Michael McCauley, 66%. Not sure that we want to put points into him, but he came in week 14. It looked like he was too impressed because we lost 350 on him somehow. Josh Smith, made us let him go. Dwayne Smith, I think our wide receiver group is looking pretty good. He doesn't even have a scholarship at 72% locked. We may just let him go. And then Keith Newsom, kind of the same. Free safety, 72%. No scholarship. Not anybody I think I would put points into. So after talking all that out, I think the main points we have to give, again, not on the wide receivers. Clarence Williams would get a bunch. We could maybe throw some at Kevin Douglas, I think. But again, it'd have to be at like 5,000, I think, to move him towards getting a good percentage to sign. Freddie Clark could get a little bit. Joshua Carlton and James Campbell. So I'm actually going to switch these guys now so I remember. Yeah, so our top priorities heading into the offseason. When we can contact these guys again. Leon Gore, Sean Bradshaw, David Davis, Clarence Williams, James Campbell, Freddie Clark, and Kevin Douglas. I think we've got 10,000 points to spend. And I'm thinking that these guys might get 500 each, something like that. So that leaves us with 8,500 to spend on 4 guys. So it's 2,000 enough each on them. We'll have to decide. But that's what it's looking like for now. All right, so I mentioned the commits earlier. Brandon Williams. Again, they've listed him as a running back. But you look at defensively, he's got some pursuit, some play rec, man coverage, zone coverage. His catching, spec catch in traffic, route running, release, all look pretty good. But his trucking, elusiveness, and stiff arm look really good as well. Even juke move and ball carrier vision. So somebody I'm hoping that goes up. We may not use him as a running back his first year, maybe a wide out cornerback type. But we'll see where everything shakes out at the end. Andrew Lewis was another late season sign here. He's got good hit power, good play rec. He's got some finesse moves and block shedding. So really excited to get this guy. And then Dominique Pennington. This guy was the number 1 guy on our board for many weeks. Average speed, but his acceleration is up there. You can see his hit power is good. Block shedding is better. But he's got power moves. He's got finesse moves. His coverage is good. Tackling is good. His pursuit is really good. So somebody I think that's going to be higher than a 71. But we'll see when the season begins. So, I mean, to be honest, it's a better recruiting class than I anticipated. Some of these guys coming in, being able to lock down. The top 2 guys in New Mexico were huge. Getting guys like Andrew Lewis late, and then being able to bring in Brandon Williams was huge for us. So, excited about the class. Even more excited about what it could be once we get, if we can get these guys signed and figure all that out. All right, recruiting's done. Moving on. One last thing I want to do recruiting-wise is check in with the top classes. So there we are at 51. Again, better than I thought we would be after the first half of the season. I don't think we had a recruit signed. So we were just kind of methodical, keeping in contact with these guys, continuing to sell our vision to them. And we got 14 locked in. We got room for 11 more, possibly some transfers. We'll see. But let's check out who's up top. As you can see, a lot of the schools you would expect up here up top. Now look at Notre Dame bringing in 4 5-stars with a 6-6 record. Ole Miss and Kentucky being up there might be a little bit of shock, but they're in the SEC. Nebraska, Auburn, it's kind of fine. Virginia up there is kind of a shock. Anybody really unexpected though? These are all kind of teams we know. There we go. Troy at 25. They got a 5-star. Who'd they get? A wideout. Wow. And a 4-star athlete and wide receiver. Okay. So a lot of the big names up here, but nice to see Troy kind of sneak their way into the top 25. All right, next let's just take a peek at the conference championships. Let's see how they shook out. Louisiana Tech winning their conference. against Tulsa. Arkansas State had a strong season. Alabama was able to pull it off against Missouri. Navy beat Cincinnati, probably knocking Cincinnati out of the top 25. Here's the Mountain West Conference, which would be a conference that we're trying to work into. But again, we've got to win 2 bowl games in a row. So we've got a first opportunity here. But looks like some strong teams in there, both at 10-3. We're going to be taking on Boise, so that'll be a good measuring stick for us. But UNLV wins that. Oregon beats USC. That's a good win for them. That probably propelled them into the national championship. Here's a rivalry game that turned into the ACC championship. North Carolina defeating NC State by 7. Big Ten championship. No Ohio State, no Michigan. Wisconsin comes away with it. The 10-3 record, taking down Michigan State. Wow. Big 12, Iowa State loses to Texas. We saw Iowa State take down, I think it was Oklahoma in one of the game of the weeks. But that's a big win for Texas. And then Miami of Ohio putting together a really good season, getting to number 16, taking down Central Michigan. Let's jump in and start scouting Boise State and get ready for this game. All right, the head coach at Boise State is Andy Avalos. Offensively, they're going to run the Boise State multiple playbook, run and pass offense, equal, aggressive, conservative. They're going to be slightly more conservative, and then they're not going to go no huddle. Defensively, they got a 4-2-5, much like us, balanced run and pass. They're going to be really aggressive. But that's Andy Avalos. Let's check out their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. So Andy Avalos is level 19. You can see he doesn't get any of these big game, in-game bonuses, which is good for us. Defensively, they got Mark Stoops. He is maxed out, former head coach. So their defense is going to get a lot of bonuses. Offensively, they got Matt Lubbock. Again, a lot of bonuses here. So we've got to just be aware that the overall of their players is going to be bumped up. All right, moving on to scouting their players. You can see a lot of mid-80s, 85 being the highest, but it's a consistent mid-80s here. Doesn't drop off drastically from top to bottom in your top players here. So I think their 10-2 record makes complete sense. But let's start defensively here with Robert McFarland. 85 overall, good speed and acceleration. He's got good strength, tackle. His finesse moves are way up there. Hip power's up there. You can block shed in pursuit. He's going to be the leader on their defense. Next, we got AJ Robinson, 5'11", 188, senior, strong safety, 85 overall. Good speed, good acceleration. The tackle, man coverage, zone coverage, play rec, hip power, all just hover around 80. Not the best we've seen, but it's consistent. His hip power's up there. His pursuit is good. He can press a little bit, so definitely somebody we have to be aware of. Also in the defensive backfield, they got David Lucas, 6'2", 192-pound senior, cornerback, 84 overall. He's got good speed, man coverage is up there, press is up there, play rec, pursuit's really good, tackle's good for a corner. So it looks like they're going to have a strong defensive backfield here. And then lastly, we'll look at J.J. Parsons, redshirt senior middle linebacker, 83 overall, 83 speed, good acceleration, tackle, play rec, and just hover around 80. But again, good enough to give problems to our guys. Block shedding's way up there, so we got to make sure that Josh Jackson can get to him and seal him up for our run game. Zone coverage might be a little bit low. Man coverage is up there. So have to keep that in mind for our running backs. He's got some power moves, finesse moves if he comes after the quarterback. But hopefully our O-line can handle that. Offensively, we got Dwight Williams, redshirt senior wide receiver, 85 overall. Good speed and acceleration. Catching's up there. Route running is phenomenal. Catching traffic is up there. Spec catch and jumping. So a really solid receiver for them. Next, we got Ray Gandy, 84 overall running back. Good speed and acceleration. He's a speedster. He can break some tackles. Carrying is a little bit low. Maybe we can get a hit on him, make him cough up the ball. He's very elusive. He's got good vision. Stiff arm's not the greatest, but he can spin and juke. So he's going to be pretty slippery out there. Next, we got Jonathan Walker, 82 overall quarterback. He's going to be a dual threat guy. Throw power's not the strongest. Accuracy is a little bit low. Something we can maybe take advantage of. But we've got to keep him in the pocket and we've got to make him throw. Lastly, we'll look at Victor Medlock, senior center, 82 overall, good speed, acceleration. Awareness is up there. Pass block, run block, good enough. Impact block up there. He's strong enough. So I think at 82 overall, matched up with our 2D tackles, I like our chances here. If he's their best O-line, we could have some advantages in the trenches. All right, next let's take a look at their depth chart, kind of see if we can spot any weaknesses. We looked at Jonathan Walker, and again, looking at their roster, just a consistent mid-80s in their top level guys. So they're consistently good. They just don't have anybody that's really elite, but that can be problematic. Ray Gandy we looked at. Ryan Williams behind him looks solid. Fullback looks solid. Wide receiver we saw Dwight Williams. I like Chad James or Jimmy Jackson matched up on him. I think we got the man advantage here with Ryan Morrow, although they're fairly fast. And the speed is always something that's hard to defend. But I think matchup-wise, it looks pretty good. And then Aaron Sharp in the slot here, matched up with Cornelius. Again, Cornelius has done a tremendous job for us, locking down that third receiver. But he's got his work cut out for him every week, and he seems to respond. We got Workman, Hurst, and Glover here. Again, all solid receivers. Nobody's super elite, but they've got good speed. Offensive line-wise, left tackle, 77. Going to match up well with Danny Hughes on our right side. So Danny's got to win that one consistently, cause problems in the backfield, and hopefully disrupt enough plays to give us an advantage. Left guard, 77. Again, with our 2D tackles, Bowling and Swain at 84 and 83. I think we can win this inside battle here with Nelson, Medlock, and if this Medlock is injured and they go to Paris, that would be even better for us, but we better check on the injuries. Either way, I like our matchup in there. It's going to be tough, no doubt, but we've got the slight edge there. And then right tackle here, wow, 67. He's going to be matched up with Victor Drew. Victor Drew has got to dominate that matchup right there. And if he can do that, that's really going to help our team. Left end, 82 overall. Not the fastest, but fast enough, I think. He's going to be matched up with Elliott Smith, and so that'll be a tough matchup for Elliott, but Elliott's played solid all year. So something we have to keep an eye on. Again, maybe keep a back in to help check keys. We'll see what the other guys bring. But six-man protection is definitely in play. McFarland going up against Sean Scott. He's got the advantage there. But again, Sean Scott has showed up, continues to get pancakes for us, and plays solid. So hopefully he can just battle this out, win more times than not, and get us in good positions to have the big plays. D-tackle-wise, 79-78. And here's where Josh Jackson and his abilities really come into play. Solid players here, but again, Josh Jackson has kind of been dominating in the middle, and we look for more of that from him. If he can do that, that helps out our guards. If it's a double team and we can get Jackson coming off, secure the block with the guard, that helps out our young guards a lot and gets us in good positions to run the ball very well. Outside linebacker, 78 overall. Good speed, good acceleration. There's Parsons at 83. Brown's at 83. Looks like an impact player. So solid linebackers. Again, matched up with our O-line and our running backs. They might have the advantage there in their front seven. Cornerback, David Lucas, Darren Harrell. This will be Adam Williams' last game. I like Adam Williams in the matchup here. I think both Sanders and Blount have proved they can win these battles consistently. They just got to do it for one more game this year. Free safety at 72. Again, I don't know if I've done the greatest job taking advantage of this. If it's the passing game, we'll check out his coverage here. Man coverage 64, zone 68, not very good. So we've got to come up with ways to exploit him in coverage. And I don't know that I've figured that out completely yet, but maybe today's the day that I put some time into figuring that out. Strong safety, A.J. Robinson, 85 overall. Very fast, good acceleration. He's going to be flying around the field. Can maybe make up for, some of their free safeties weaknesses. So somebody we got to keep an eye on here. Know where he's at on the field. Attack the other side maybe through the air. Kicking game, not too solid here. We'll check out his kick power, 74. So he's not going to have the biggest range. I know I've said this a few weeks, but maybe a kick six. Punter looks like he's got decent power but no accuracy. So punt return game is definitely in play. Here's their returners. Brooks will do the job for them. And then Victor Medlock is their long snapper. All right, let's check out injuries quick. So Kelly Smith is questionable. We'll see. He's only a junior. We'll see if we can get him to play. So the right guard is probable. So if we don't get the matchup with their backup, it's going to be a good battle in the middle there. All right, so after scouting Boise State's coaches, players, I think the game plan strategy, I start with play action. Is it on the table? Yes, I don't use it very often, but it is nice to know going into the game, if I feel like we're overpowered on the front lines, play action doesn't really make sense to do, but this week I'm comfortable running play action. Running advantage, I don't think we have the running advantage, but I don't think we're overmatched as well. I know some of the ends against our tackles don't look good, but I think they win often enough, and we can run behind Josh Jackson, I think, all day long. I think he does a tremendous job in there, leading the blocks with our young guards and getting us a hole. Passing advantage, I think we might, with Adam Williams, if he's at full strength, I think we have the passing advantage, but I'm going to say wash just because Williams has been injured and slowed down, and Blount and Sanders are both, I don't want to say outmatched, but their overall is less than their corners. And then six-man protection is on the table. I think just looking at the matchup with their DNs and our tackles, that running back is going to have to stay in more often than not and help protect, whether it's a delayed route or a full-on block. He's going to have to stay in. Defensively, I feel comfortable going man coverage. I think our top two guys, James and Jackson, can hold it down. I think Cornelius has done a tremendous job, so I feel comfortable going man. Zone obviously is what we lean on, but there are times where it's nice to go man. Blitzing out of man is on the table. Again, because the matchups favor us with the top two guys, I'm not afraid to blitz out of man, but zone blitz will be our bread and butter on defense, and it might be, forevermore. But if there's ever a time we need a little extra oomph of pressure, it's nice to know we can go man blitz. Run advantage, I think we've got it. I think, with our front four and even our linebackers matched up against their offensive linemen, I think we get the nod. So I'm excited to see how our two DNs, play their final game. Can they dominate consistently? That's going to be exciting to watch. And then passing advantage, I think we've got that. Again, with the top two for sure, and with the way Cornelius has been playing in the slot, I'm very confident saying that we have the advantage there. But it all comes down to how they scheme us up, how we scheme them up, and how we can execute. So it'll be a good battle, and scouting's only, half the battle. We still have to play the game, still have to play really well. All right, for the last time this season, we have to spin our event wheel. It seems like the whole season it's kind of given us one positive, one negative. I think there was 1 week where we got 2 positives, and there's 1 week where we got 2 negatives. So it's been fairly consistent, fairly fair, if that's the right word. But we'll go ahead and give it a spin and see what we get this week. All right, first one. Once again, we got backup becomes a starter. So there will be a backup that has put in the effort, showed up to practice, asked questions, hasn't been afraid to fail, kind of worked with our mental coach, worked with the sports psychologist, and has really kind of elevated their game to become the starter. So we'll spin now and find out who that is. So our tight end 2, our backup tight end, is going to overtake Mike Wells here. And as Roderick Quinn is going to jump to a 76 overall as a redshirt freshman. So that's exciting for us to have 2 solid tight ends. And we'll make those changes here shortly in time for this game. All right, second spin. And then with the same spin, we get starter is demoted, which means that one of our starters is going to drop below their backup. And we'll spin and find out who that is. Wow, so it's our wide receiver. So Adam Williams is going to drop to 75 overall, which it's weird that this spun because that's kind of how Adam Williams has been playing this year. Just didn't quite reach his potential after getting injured. So maybe he's been playing at 75 this whole year. But this week will reflect that. So again, the wheel giveth and the wheel taketh. But we'll take both. And we'll move on and get ready to play this game. All right, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to tune into the next episode where we take on Boise State in the Poinsettia Bowl. Thanks for watching, everyone.